Hey everybody, welcome back to another new and noteworthy mod review. Today we're going to take a look at Vehicle Speed Sync. But before that, this video is brought to you by Peter Dressler and Darren Cassell. Thank you for being farm barons. So Vehicle Speed Sync can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this mod is available for PC players only. In fact, this mod will always be for PC players because it does make use of additional scripts. Now, the first time you load into the game with Vehicle Speed Sync activated, you will see a message like this come up, and it is telling you that there is a settings XML file that has been created. It's going to give you the path to that, which is going to be under your Farming Simulator 2022 folder, mod settings, which is going to be in the same general place as your mods folder, then FS22 Vehicle Speed Sync, and then a settings.xml. And within that settings file, you're going to be able to modify how Vehicle Speed Sync looks and works to some degree on your gameplay. So let's go ahead and jump over and take a look at that settings file. So here we have the mod settings folder open. Again, we're going to find this file under our Farming Simulator 2022 folder. Then there will be a folder within there called mod settings. That is the same general area where your mods folder is located. And then within the mod settings folder is going to be your Vehicle Speed Sync folder, FS22 Vehicle Speed Sync. And then we have our settings.xml, which is what we have open here. There are a few options that you can change here, and it will affect how the mod works within the game. The first one is to display or not display the active speed sync key binding in your F1 menu. So you may choose that you don't want to see the key binding to activate Vehicle Speed Sync. And if that is the case, you want to come here to show input bindings equals quote true quote, and you want to change that to equals quote false quote. And at that point, it will not show the key binding in the F1 menu. We're just going to change that back. We can change the color of the speed gauge if we want to. We can change this to false if we don't want the speed gauge to change. We're going to show that when we get back into the mod itself. And then if we want to, we can change the color of the speed gauge. We just have to enter an RGB color format code right here, and then that will change for us. The last setting that we have is to cruise control sync. And that is set to true or false. Again, there is a second key binding. Basically, left shift 3 and left shift 4 are the default key bindings for this particular mod. And if we change this line and this line to false, then those key bindings just will not show up in the F1 menu. Now let's jump back in the game and see how this all works. Vehicle Speed Sync is set to make your gameplay a whole lot easier when you are needing to run alongside of another vehicle or maybe trail behind another vehicle without having to worry about gaining on the vehicle or passing the vehicle. So here we have a harvester working in a canola field, and we are going to offload the harvester on the run. And in normal gameplay, in both single player and multiplayer, this isn't overly difficult of a task, but it's definitely something that you may run into some difficulty, or not maybe so much difficulty, but you may run into issues with respect to really trying to lock sync with respect to the speed of the vehicle that you are trying to run alongside of. So if you're like me and you just don't remember off the top of your head the working speed of most of the game headers, the working speed of forage harvester headers, or the working speed of lots of other types of implements in the game, where you end up kind of, if you're a keyboard player, you just kind of tap the W key, trying to, maintain a decent speed to run alongside. Maybe you engage cruise control and then you use the 1 or 2 to try to slow down and then try to figure out where you can match your speed with the vehicle that you are running alongside of. Along comes vehicle speed sync, which aims to make this process very, very straightforward. So let's pull up our F1 menu, and we have two new key bindings, left shift 3 and left shift 4. So let's turn off cruise control. And we're going to pull up alongside the harvester. We're going to hit left shift 3. And it has immediately set the cruise control to the speed that the harvester is running. So we are now in lockstep with the harvester at the time we hit left shift 3. That's very important to remember. When we hit left shift 3, we are syncing the speed of the vehicle which we are either following or running alongside. Should the vehicle slow down or speed up, we are not going to slow down or speed up in lock sync with that vehicle. We're simply going to maintain the speed at which we were set our sync to when we hit left shift 3. So you may have noticed that we are kind of pulling ahead of the harvester a little bit. That's because we are going up a hill. The harvester is possibly slowing down a wee bit, and as a result, if this continued, we would eventually pull ahead of the pipe. You're also going to notice when we get to the end of the field, the tractor is going to continue to drive basically until we tell it to stop at 6 miles per hour. It is not going to stop with the harvester when it stops. And that is what left shift 4 is going to do. And we're going to demonstrate that on the next run. You can see we're still running at 6 miles an hour. And we're going to run at 6 miles an hour basically until we turn vehicle speed sync off. And we can do that by either hitting left shift 3 or just by getting on the accelerator and driving ahead. I want to talk to you about the other option, left shift 4, which honestly I think was really underutilized when this mod came out in FS19. A lot of people understood left shift 3 to instantly sync the speed at which the vehicle you're running alongside of or behind was running. But left shift 4 is where the real power of this mod comes in. So let's get lined up and let's hit F shift 4, left shift 4, while this harvester is stopped. Okay, we're gonna hit left shift 4. And you'll notice, first off, our speedometer down in the bottom right corner has now changed color. We also took off immediately with the harvester. Take note of where the pipe is at. The pipe is just above the R on Rudolph. We are now in synchronized lock step with the harvester. As the harvester continues to run, we will continue to follow at that same speed, assuming, of course, the tractor can keep up, right? It's quite possible the tractor could get overloaded and slow down itself and therefore not be able to really keep up. But in theory, when the harvester gets to the end of the row and it stops, we are going to stop also automatically. You can see on the F1 menu over here, vehicle speed sync, and it lists the harvester as what we are syncing our speed to. Again, that is left shift 4 is a lockstep sync with the vehicle we are following or running alongside of, and if the harvester slows down, we will slow down. The harvester's pulled ahead a little bit. That is because our tractor is just not able, I think, to keep up given the fact that we now have a full load of canola. Well, let's go ahead and cut a little bit of the video out, and I'll join you back once we get right to the end of the field. And I'm not going to touch anything, and we're going to see the tractor stop when the harvester stops. All right, so remember, we still have vehicle speed sync enabled. Our speedometer is changed color. We're running at 6 miles an hour. Watch what happens. It's now turned off. We slowed down with the harvester, and as soon as the harvester started to reverse, vehicle speed sync disengaged, and now we are free to drive at whatever pace we want to. So guys, that is vehicle speed sync. Let me know down in the comments below if this was a mod you used in Farm Sim 19. Did you realize that it had two little functions? Left shift 3 to sync one time, sync with respect to the vehicle that you were running alongside of, or left shift 4 to basically perform a lockstep sync where you were continuously synced with the harvester or whatever else you were running alongside of. And until next time, happy farming.